This video is brought to you by HonorFirst.com, a nonprofit organization. I'm Clifford Gill, a retired Border Patrol Assistant Chief and one of its officers. In 1926, the United States Border Patrol was still a new organization operating within the Immigration Service. On March 18, 1926, General Order 61 was issued. This document helped bring structure and consistency to the early patrol. General Order 61 described the Border Patrol as an auxiliary branch of the Immigration Service, responsible for preventing and detecting the surreptitious entry of aliens and assisting in enforcing laws related to contraband along the borders. It also established a more defined internal structure by creating different positions. General Order 61 created a new position, Supervisor of Border Patrol. What makes that significant is this. For the patrol's first 2 years, from 1924 to 1926, there was no Chief of the Border Patrol. This role would eventually evolve into what we now call the Chief of the Border Patrol. According to the order, supervisors acted as representatives of the Secretary of Labor and the Commissioner General of Immigration. They were directed to move between districts, investigating issues, visiting stations, and working with officers in charge. Their purpose was to bring uniformity of procedure, coordination of effort, and overall efficiency to the Border Patrol. They were given access to official records, reports, and personnel, and were expected to make recommendations directly to leadership in Washington. At the same time, the order made clear their authority was not arbitrary, but tied to their defined duties. General Order 61 also defined the role of officers in charge of districts. These officials were not part of the Border Patrol itself. They were immigration officials that led districts and held the title of either district director or commissioner of immigration depending on the district. These positions existed long before the Border Patrol was created. When the patrol was established in 1924, it fell under their control. According to the order, they had charge and general direction of Border Patrol forces within their districts. With approval from the Commissioner General, they could issue rules and regulations and were responsible for reporting on Border Patrol activities. In effect, Border Patrol operations in the field were directed by immigration leadership, not by a Border Patrol chain of command. General Order 61 established the position of Assistant Superintendent of the Border Patrol. While the order states they would be appointed where necessary, in practice, each district had one. They devoted all of their time to Border Patrol work, carrying out duties assigned by the officer in charge of the district. This was the highest-ranking uniform position in the Border Patrol at the time. Assistant superintendents directly supervised chief patrol inspectors. It's also important to understand the structure. A district was above a sub-district, what we call a sector today. In 1926, there were 11 districts, each with its own assistant superintendent overseeing Border Patrol operations. General Order 61 defined the role of Chief Patrol Inspectors. They had immediate supervision and direction of all patrol employees within their sub-districts, along with responsibility for reports and accountability for government property. In reality, this section of General Order 61 renamed an existing position. Since 1924, the role had been known as Patrol Inspector in Charge, leading sub-districts across the patrol. This position would later evolve into what we now call the Chief Patrol Agent. In 1924 and 1926, there were 32 sub-districts, each led by one of these field leaders. General Order 61 briefly introduced the position of Senior Patrol Inspector. They performed duties assigned by the Chief Patrol Inspectors, serving as the first level of supervision above patrol inspectors. There could be more than one assigned to a station, with the senior-most functioning in a role to what we know today as a patrol agent in charge, called the Station Senior. The description in General Order 61 was so brief and vague that additional guidance had to be issued just a month later, in May 1926, to clarify the role. Over time, this position evolved into the Senior Patrol Agent, which became a non-supervisory role in the 1980s. As the position of Supervisory Border Patrol Agent was created, it was ultimately discontinued in 2009 when all GS-11 Senior Patrol Agents were promoted to GS-12 Border Patrol Agents. General Order 61 described the duties of patrol inspectors, the frontline officers of the Border Patrol. They were expected to know and enforce all federal laws related to the unlawful entry of aliens and the introduction of contraband. Those they apprehended, along with any seized contraband, were to be turned over to the appropriate authorities with proper documentation. They were also responsible for the proper use and care of government property entrusted to them. This was the foundation of the job: enforcement, accountability, and responsibility in the field. This section shows how sub-districts were numbered within each district. Border Patrol folklore often says that El Paso Station 1 was named because it was the first station. That's not accurate. It was named based on this numbering system. In 1926, El Paso was Subdistrict 2 within Immigration District 25, and the station co-located with that subdistrict headquarters was designated Station 1. While no document explicitly applies this numbering to stations, indications are that the system extended beyond subdistricts into the field, and that tradition still exists today. In the Laredo sector, stations are referred to as bases and continue to be identified by number, carrying forward a convention that began here. It also formalized reporting procedures, including daily, weekly, and monthly reports, which would continue in the patrol for the next 80 years, only to be discontinued when electronic reporting took over. General Order 61 also created forms that are recognizable to all modern Border Patrol agents. Form 644, Receipt for Persons and Contraband from 1926, is recognizable to the modern Form I-44, Report of Apprehension or Seizure. Form 644A, Record of Apprehension and Recipient from 1926, is recognizable to the modern Form Y213, Record of Deportable, Inadmissible Alien. General Order 61 stands as arguably the most influential single internal document in Border Patrol history. Nearly a century later, many of the concepts it introduced remain recognizable, reflecting its lasting impact on the organization. HonorFirst.com gratefully acknowledges the Border Patrol Museum and historian Joseph Banco. Their historical materials continue to enrich our shared commitment to preserving the proud legacy of the United States Border Patrol.